All right, I show we have 5:45. We will take roll call.
Kristen Petrini is missing. Everyone else is here.
Okay, having a quorum, we will call the Wabash City Schools Board of Finance meeting to order. First on the agenda is elections of officers. First up is president, and I would accept a nomination for a president.
I nominate Rod Kelsheimer as president of the Board of Finance.
We have a nomination. Do we have a second?
Second.
Nomination is second. Any discussion or other nominations? If not, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next up is election of a vice president. I nominate Rhonda Hipskind as vice president.
Second.
And we have a second. Any discussion or any other nominations for vice president? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next up is the election of secretary. I nominate Stephen Dafoe for secretary.
Second.
We have a nomination and second. Any discussion or other nominations for secretary? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next up is the DUAB report. Mr. Stone.
And I don't know if you guys can see the link, but this is just that basic report, the fiscal indicators, and then we're supposed to go over it at this meeting. So the main things, the first thing is our average daily membership. You can see that last spring we had 1,417 kids, which from the start of the 1920 school year till then was down 100 students. So in 2.5 years, we went from 1516 to 1417. So we had lost some students. And if you remember at the beginning of this year, we're still at about 14.7. I think we're at 1418 and a half or whatever.
Yeah.
So we went up a student and a half to start this school year. The second chart they show is fund balances. Needless to say, the one thing that stands out is the operations balance being in the negative at 1.2 million. You'll see that all the other funds are in the positive. And the one other thing that stands out there is you see that back in 19 and 20, we had a large amount in our capital funds balance. That's because we held those construction funds that we ended up paying out. So that's why that fund's back down. The third one is the deficit surplus thing. Again, you'll see our operations are in a deficit. Actually, in 21, we had less of a deficit than 20, but still a deficit for that year. When you go to the fourth one, it's the fund balance as a percent of operation expenditures. And you see that in 21, we were a negative for the first time with our balances, and that's that minus 7.4%, which our negative was $1 million and our budget was 14 million. That's how they came up with the negative 7%. Again, not a surprise, things we've been talking about here lately with our operations budget. And then the last two, the last one we don't even do because we don't have a referendum, but the revenue by type, you can see that it stays fairly steady except when we borrowed money for the projects. That's where that green triangle comes in. And of course, you have some of the federal stimulus that was in there for the last couple of years. But you see it stays pretty steady with state revenue and with our local tax. So really, the only thing in this report that stands out is the last couple of years of negatives with our operation fund.
Matt,
And the loss of students.
is 2023 the last year of the federal stimulus revenue?
It goes up until August of 24.
August of 24.
Yeah. So that's the DUAB report.
One more question for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
While we show a negative balance in the operations fund, we haven't missed any payments on anything that we have going out.
Absolutely not. No.
I just wanted to clarify that.
We've always had a balance in our bank. We've made all of our payroll. We've made all of our payments. We've made all of our debt payments. Yeah, that I know people get confused because it is the one fund that looks ugly, right? But there are other funds that we have money in, and we have not missed any payments or been behind on any payments.
Any other questions for Mr. Stone relating to the DUAB report? If not, we'll move on to the next agenda item, and that is to approve the following depository. Crossroads Bank at 1205 North Cass Street, Wabash, Indiana. Education Fund, Debt Service Fund, Operations Fund, Rainy Day Fund, Textbook Fund, and Cafeteria Fund.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving Crossroads Bank as the depository indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Items from board members. Stephen, anything for this? Rhonda?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
And I don't either. With that, I would accept a motion to adjourn the
So
Board of
moved.
Finance meeting. Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Board of Finance meeting is adjourned. Thank you.